Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! Good job, honey. Okay, now Mama's gonna talk. Okay, good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. Hi, good morning. My name is, can you hear me? Oh, is that better? Is that better? Okay. My name is Andrea and I use she, her pronouns. I serve as one of your Board of Trustees members, and I'm happy to welcome all of you on Zoom and in the sanctuary to the Tahoma Unitarian Universalist Congregation. Petra is back here helping me with my announcements. Okay, Peppa, you gotta sit down, my sweetheart, okay? Yeah, you gotta sit down when Mama talks, okay? Good. Sit down. Yeah. I hope everyone had a cozy holidays. In our house, we've been sick for like a week, so it's just us two that are not sick anymore, but you know, that's just our life. But otherwise good. Unitarian Universalists are a community of people who hold many beliefs, many origins, identities, sexualities, and genders. We uphold and celebrate the inherent dignity of every person, which means you are welcome here just the way you are. Love is the power that holds us together as we gather in community to seek life's deeper meanings and to celebrate the diversity of all living things. We are all growing with and learning from one another. If you are here for the first time, we bid you a special welcome. After the service, we will be in the sanctuary right over there. I'm supposed to point to an area, but with this one, I'm around, okay? And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have about Unitarian Universalism or our congregation. Or if you have questions about how to become involved in our community. Yeah, just ask. I also encourage you to explore our website, tahomauu.com. At the website, you can sign up for our weekly e-news that includes information about the important and fun events going on in congregational life and how you can participate. There is a lot always happening, so the e-news really is great. And then here are a couple special announcements really quickly. Right after the service, we need help taking down our Christmas tree. If anyone wants to help with that, we're going to be taking that one down, dismantling it, and taking it up to the attic. I did not know there was an attic. I just now learned that, but we have an attic. Okay, we have lots of storage. Also, Ben wanted to say a few words, and then Sheila.
Good morning, everyone. A couple of heads up. These will be in the e-news, but I wanted to give them verbally as well. This month in January, we have two separate after-church events that are taking place. On the 18th, after church, there will be the Program Council meeting. The Program Council, for anybody who doesn't remember, because it wasn't happening for a few years. The Program Council is a meeting of the chairs of all the teams and committees that the church has. So if you are leading a team or committee here at the church, please do try and make it on at noon on the 18th. And it is not a closed meeting. If you are a member of the work group at this church and you want to come to the meeting and hear what's going on, please do. And then on January 25th, we are going to have an informational meeting. It is not a congregational meeting. It is a time for us to talk about the church's finances and where we are 6 months of the way through the year, talk about what's been happening, and put some ideas to give people a little heads up on some of the things that are coming down the pipeline for the June congregational meeting. So if you have time, we would love it if you could stay on January 25th after church to hear what the state of the church is. Thank you very much.
All you need is love. Do, 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 do. That's the theme of our auction on February 14th. So if you looked at the newsletter, the website is available. You can buy tickets for the dinner, $10 for a delicious meal. If you're a volunteer, you get in free. So we'll have volunteer signups coming soon. And I think tickets are $10 as before. The donation form is on the website, so please check it out and hope to see you there.
Great. So again, lots more announcements in the e-news if you want to check that out as well. And you are also invited to join us for social hour immediately following the service, right over there by the windows. For those of you who are newer to our community, we have red coffee mugs for you to use if you'd like to identify yourself and be approached by people who would enjoy getting to know you. So again, the red coffee mug, and we'll come up and say hi. If you are someone who would benefit from a large print hymnal or a hearing assistance device, they're available at the back of the sanctuary. Oh, sweetheart.
Be fine.
Okay. She's just, it's so distracting, okay? Because it's so hard to read as a parent when you know your kids just, okay. We want to remind everyone that our services are available through Zoom and posted to YouTube, which means which means if you come up front, your image may appear on those venues. So for all eternity, she's gonna there's dancing. Okay, as we begin our service in this beautiful place called Tahoma by local indigenous tribes and nations, I acknowledge that we meet today on the land of the Coast Salish people, including the Puyallup tribal nation, land from which they were forcibly displaced. I honor the resiliency of indigenous people and stand with them as they continue to protect their culture, land, and water and fight for their visibility, sovereignty, and very existence. Lastly, please set your electronic devices to worship mode. Let us exhale deeply and settle ourselves into this holy moment of sharing and receiving. Now let us join together in worship.
Good morning. I'm Chrissy Kim. I'm your celebrant today, and I use she, her pronouns. First off, do we have anybody new today who would like to introduce themselves? You're like, I raised my hand that I was new, but I don't know about introducing myself. Hello, hello. There we are.
My name is Jason Cannon. We live in the Lake Tapps area. This is our first time being here at this congregation, but we went to a prior one in West Seattle earlier. So happy to be here.
Thanks. Hi, I'm Sarah, and these are our kids, Theo and Zach, and they're 11 and 8 years old. Thanks for welcoming us.
Welcome. Anyone else?
Hi, my name is Krista. Similar, this is my first time here, but I went to the UU in Boise, Idaho when I lived there. And I have a 5-year-old who's at home. And so I'm trying to figure out, like, now that we're in a different rhythm, is there time for me to do this on Sundays? So thanks.
Welcome. Anyone else? And if you are on Zoom, feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat to our other Zoom members. All right, and that brings us to our opening words today, which are from the Reverend Karen G. Johnson, adapted from A Litany of Resistance. We come together in this space because we believe that justice is possible. We light our chalice not only to remember the work of the past, but to spark the fire of change for the future. May we rise in spirit, in voice, and in action. Be brave together, even when the world tells us to be quiet. For our chalice lighting this morning, our speaker, Dr. Davi Kallman, is going to light our chalice. And now if you'll join me with the chalice lighting words on the screen. We light this chalice in deep respect for the mystery and holiness of life, in honor and gratitude for those who dwell for, with love and compassion for those who dwell among us, and with hope and faith for the generations to come. And now if you'll rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn, number 108 in the teal, no, not the teal hymnal, on the gray hymnal. And Sheila is our song leader today.
That Testing. Okay. Well, this is the part for the time of all ages, and this is where I ask those young and young at heart to start coming up. But I also would like to ask the children to pick up any food donations that we have. If anybody has any, you can hold them up so the kids can see you. This is something we do every week, and it helps the kids be a part of the social justice program. I think we've got some in the back. Ooh, that's a big bag. Okay. And now I'm going to hand it over to our speaker, Davi. She's going to read us a story.
Hi, everyone. Okay, so the book I'm going to read today is called The Whispering Town. Okay, do you see the little circles, little whispers? Okay. Okay. There are new friends in the cellar, Annette, Mama said when I woke up. Time to take breakfast down to them. I paused at the top of the stairs. The cellar scared me because it was dark, but the whispering voices gave me courage. When I reached the bottom, I entered the secret room where we hid Danish Jews from the Nazis. A woman and her son sat on a cot. I'm Annette, I said, holding out the basket. Mama made you breakfast. I'm Carl. The boy took the basket and handed his mother a roll and a soft boiled egg. We thank you, she said. Back upstairs, I sat down to my own breakfast. How long will our new friends stay? I asked. 2 nights, said Papa. On the 3rd night, a boat will take them to Sweden. While they're here, we'll need more bread, Mama said. How many of you like bread? You like bread? I love bread. Yeah, just a little bit. What about pasta? No? Okay. After breakfast, I walked to the bakery. We have new friends, I whispered to the baker. Here is extra, he whispered back, handing me a bulging bag, and then he says, stay safe. See that? All the bread he's giving him? On the way home, I saw Nazi soldiers knock on a door across the street. Even though they had been in my town for a long time, my stomach still knotted when I saw them. Mama, Papa, soldiers across the street, I said when I came home. Mama tapped 3 times on the cellar door to warn our friends to be quiet. After the soldiers left, Papa looked up at the cloudy sky. No moon tonight, he said. It will be difficult for our friends to find the harbor in this darkness. The next day, I took food to the cellar again, and again I let the whispering voices guide me down the dark stairs. This will help me pass the time, I said, handing Carl some library books. He took them and smiled, and he said, I love to read. Mama, I need new books, I said when I came back upstairs. After breakfast, I walked to the library. We have new friends, I whispered to the librarian. Be careful, she whispered back, handing me extra books. On the way home, I saw Nazi soldiers knock on the neighbor's door. Mama, Papa, soldiers next door, I said when I came into the house. Mama tapped 3 times on the cellar door. After the soldiers left, Papa looked up at the cloudy sky. No moon again, not tonight. Maybe the clouds will clear tomorrow. Again, the next morning, I let the whispering voices guide me down the dark stairs. As Carl reached into the breakfast basket, a heart-shaped stone fell to the floor. Carl picked it up. I found this with my papa the last time we walked on the beach, he said. It's beautiful, I said, that heart-shaped stone. Yeah, so cute. Annette, we need more eggs, Papa said when we finished breakfast. I walked to the farm. We have new friends, I whispered to the farmer. Wish them well, he whispered back, giving me extra eggs. On my way home, I saw Nazi soldiers heading for our house. I cut across the alley and raced through our back door. Mama, Papa, the soldiers are coming to our house. They didn't answer me. No one was home. I tapped 3 times on the cellar door. Then I heard pounding on the front door. Boom, boom, boom. I opened it a crack. We've heard rumors that someone is hiding Jews on the street, said a soldier, pushing the door open. I haven't heard any rumors, I said, trying to stop my voice from shaking. Trembling, I closed the door. The soldiers were here, I said, when Mama and Papa returned. They are looking for hidden Jews. Brave Annette, Papa hugged me. Our friends must travel tonight. I thought about, even though it is cloudy, how can we get them safely to the harbor? I thought about being afraid of the dark cellar and how the whispering voices guided me down the stairs. Papa, what if people stood in the doorways and used their voices to guide our friends to the boat? I suggested. Papa stood quietly, considering my idea. That just might work, he said. Help me to arrange it. I ran to the baker, the librarian, and the farmer to tell them about our plan. They agreed to help spread the word around the village. See, she's telling everyone. At midnight, Carl and his mama came up from the cellar. Carl pressed the heart-shaped stone into my hand. Remember me always, Annette. I held the little heart against my own. After Carl and his mama slipped into the night, I leaned as far as I could out my bedroom window. I heard our neighbors whisper from his doorway. This way, he said, guiding Carl and his mother toward the harbor. See, this way, this way, this way. Then our neighbor's neighbor whispered, this way. The whispers continued from the neighbor to neighbor to neighbor until Carl and his mama had safely reached the boat. I squeezed the stone in my hand and imagined them walking free on the beach in Sweden. That's it, the whispering town. They made it safely to the boat. And then they're going to go to the beach in Sweden.
Will join us in forming an arch to sing our children down. We hold you in our love as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go. To nurture the spark of your precious life, we hold you in our love as you go. We hold you in our love as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go. To nurture the spark of your precious life, we hold you in our love as you go.
Now it's time for the offering. We invite those in the sanctuary to use the baskets passed by the ushers and folks online or in the sanctuary to give online. And giving online, folks can choose to pledge to the general fund or one of the special committees like safe parking or translocations. The baskets, there are baskets of those committees for in the front of the sanctuary. Resistance is not only found in the streets or in the headlines. It lives in the quiet courage to care for one another, in the choice to share resources, to build community, to refuse to the lie that we are one all alone. The gifts we offer today are small acts of defiance against a world that tells us scarcity is inevitable and justice is optional. They are expressions of shared power and collective care and enduring hope. May these offerings support the work of dignity, healing, and liberation. And may they remind us that even small acts given together can help light the way forward.
If you will join me for our dedication offertory words behind me, we dedicate ourselves and our offerings to the work of this congregation, weaving a tapestry of love we call community, both within and beyond these walls.
If you'd rise in body or spirit, our hymn is number 95 in the gray hymnal. There is more love somewhere.
I'm gonna
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me again. I gave a presentation months back on ableism and how to combat it. My name is Dr. Davi Kallman, and I am a dean at Pierce College, but more importantly than that, I am the granddaughter of a Holocaust survivor. It is an honor to be here today with you to deliver this sermon. This morning, I want to talk about resistance, not just the kind we see in headlines or history books, but the quiet, steady, deeply personal kind of resistance that sustains life, even in the face of unimaginable loss. I want to begin today with a quote from Elie Wiesel, the Nobel Peace Prize winner, Holocaust survivor, and human rights activist who devoted his life to ensuring the world would never forget the atrocities of the Holocaust. He once said, "Mi shelo nilham be'etzem shel hayav hu nitzol kol hayav." In English, this translates to, "He who does not fight for his very survival, is he truly a survivor throughout his life?" This quote challenges us to think about survival not as the end of suffering, but as the beginning of meaning making. It reminds us that resistance can live in how we carry our stories, how we remember, and how we show up for one another. Wiesel believed in the power of bearing witness. To him, memory was not passive, it was sacred. To listen to a survivor's story was to become part of that story, part of that history, and responsible for carrying it forward. So today I want to honor that sacred task. I want to share the story of one of those witnesses, my grandmother, Edith Kallman, who resisted with extraordinary courage, resilience, and love. Her story and the way she lived continues to shape who I am as a person. Through her, I've learned that resistance is not only found in defiance, but in the quiet decision to keep on going, to build, to nurture, and to dream. Edith was born in July 5th, 1924 in Czechoslovakia. In 1943, after receiving a warning that Jews in their area were about to be detained, Edith and her sister fled their home. They traveled by night to Hungary and stayed with their older sister. From there, they made their way to Budapest, where they found work and lived under false identities. Edith became Annika Braun, but her false identity was eventually discovered. Fearing arrest, she fled to Debrecen, where she lived with and cared for the elderly parents of a cousin. In the spring of 1944, all the Jews in Debrecen were detained and deported. Edith had a chance to escape, but she chose to stay. She stayed with the elderly couple she had been caring for. That choice to remain and care for others despite the fear was a small but courageous act of resistance. It ultimately led to her capture, but it was a risk she was willing to take. She was caught in a roundup, deported to Auschwitz, a concentration camp, in 1944, along with her cousin, her aunt, and her uncle. During the Nazi selection process, where many were sent directly to their deaths, Edith was miraculously saved. Her brother's girlfriend, who was also imprisoned and barely recognizable, nudged Edith into the line that would eventually spare her life. All the people that were deported with her, all her family deported with her, died that day. At Auschwitz, Edith was processed, her head was shaved, her clothes were taken, and she was given a striped uniform. After 6 weeks, she was transported to Ravensbrück, a concentration camp for women, and later to Oranienburg, where she was forced to work in a munitions factory under brutal conditions. In the spring of 1945, as the Allies advanced, Edith and her prisoners were forced on a death march. Along the way, the Soviet army liberated them before they could reach the next camp. After the war, she returned to Budapest, where she miraculously reunited with her brothers Maurice, Alex, and her sister Gisela. To this day, my grandmother, and she has passed many years ago, but she never told any of us her story. This story was found by the Shoah Foundation, and they were tasked with getting the histories and oral testimonies of all Holocaust survivors. It was too painful for her to share with us, and she did not want us to bear witness to that. But in keeping with the theme of resistance, I thought it was very important to learn her story and what it meant for me and my family. In 1948, Edith immigrated to the United States under the sponsorship of her oldest brother, Bernard, who lived in Las Cruces, New Mexico. She had never met him in person. In 1949, she married Davi Kallman of El Paso, Texas. Together, they settled in Las Cruces, New Mexico. They had 3 children, Jerry, Eddie, and Marilyn. And my dad is actually on Zoom listening to us today. They worked in retail and did everything they could to provide for their family. Edith arrived in the US without knowing English. She learned it. She also learned Spanish. She became fluent in both in less than a couple years. Even though she spoke with an accent until the very last day, she couldn't say her W, it sounded like a V, but she built a life filled with connection and dignity. Their goal was simple but profound. Their children would never have to face the horrors they had. Their kids would never had to know hunger or fear. They got to go to school. They got to be kids. That alone was a quiet form of resistance against what had been stolen from Edith's own childhood. When their son, Eddie, my dad, met my mom, Rebecca, in El Paso, they opened a business with their friend, David, a person who I was named after. Edith worked in the store alongside them. Here she was, a Holocaust survivor. She had endured and survived multiple cancers, heart issues, chronic pain, and osteoporosis. And she still showed up to work every single day for her family, for her work, and for her life. Everyone who came through the doors of our family store knew and loved Edith. To the world, she was Edith. To many, she was a survivor. To her customers, she was a friendly face who could help them find what they needed. But to me, she was my Ima. When I was young, I couldn't pronounce the word grandma. So my dad taught me the Hebrew word Ima, which means mom in Hebrew. This is what I called her, not because she replaced my mom or my other grandmother, but because she held a unique and cherished role in my life. She also used to call me her peaches and cream because of my rosy cheeks, and we now know it is actually rosacea, but she did not know that. So she called me peaches and cream, and it just meant something to me. And I actually, as a memorial to her, I got a peaches and cream tattoo on my right ankle. It was her way of showing affection. It was a playful nickname that always made me feel loved and made me feel cared for. For her, peaches and cream was more than a name. It was a bond between us, a thread connecting us across generations, across survival, and across love. Edith's life reminds us that resistance isn't always loud or dramatic. Often it's found in the quiet decisions, in our daily routines, in caring for others, in rebuilding, in laughing again, in loving fiercely, and in choosing hope. Her story is proof that even when all hope feels lost, we can choose to keep going. That choice again and again is a form of resistance. And that kind of resistance is contagious. So what does resistance look like in our daily lives? How do we take Edith's story and make it fit for what we're doing here today? It's easy to associate resistance with large-scale protests or political actions, and those are vital to our democracy. But resistance also lives in everyday choices that we make, in our ability to speak the truth, to care, to protect, to remember. When Elie Wiesel said, "Whoever listens to a witness becomes a witness," he reminded us that bearing witness is an act of moral courage. Carrying stories like Edith's forward is a form of resistance. It refuses to let oppression go unchallenged. It ensures that suffering is not erased. Being a witness is not passive. It means listening deeply, amplifying the silent voices around us, speaking out, and choosing not to look away. Resistance is showing up for your community even when you're tired, correcting harmful stereotypes when you hear them and see them, calling out injustice in policy and practice and in your own organization, telling your child the truth about history, making room at the table for those that are long excluded, seeing the full humanity in others even when the world teaches us not to. Edith's resistance didn't end when the camps were liberated. It lived in how she lived, with love, with grit, and with joy. That spirit lives in me, it lives in my parents, lives in my brother, and it can live in you too. When we carry these stories forward with intention, when we refuse to forget, we are resisting. And in doing so, we reclaim our power in an unjust world. So what does this mean for us today? We still live in a world filled with injustice, hate, oppression, but resistance continues, love continues. So does the choice to show up. We resist when we teach truth, when we create belonging, when we refuse despair. We resist when we live with purpose, when we tell our stories, when we believe in something better. Resistance is not something that lives in the past. It is alive now. It takes shape in ordinary moments and everyday decisions. And while we may not be hiding people in our homes or marching through occupied territories, the need for courage and compassion is just as urgent. Other forms of resistance can look like telling the truth when it would be easier to stay silent, calling out injustices in our workplaces, schools, and families, supporting marginalized communities, not just in word, but in action. I really love the food bank is an example of that. Choosing curiosity over fear when faced when someone is different from us. Making space for people with disabilities, ensuring access and dignity for all like you do in this congregation, allowing people to join remotely, having assisted hearing devices, having large print. These are all forms of resistance. Uplifting stories that are silenced, especially those erased from the history books. Teaching children about resilience and equity, not just fairness. The fact that you have an opportunity for children to sit down and listen to these stories is so telling to this congregation and what resistance can look like for a future generation. Choosing joy in the world that profits from despair and showing up for each other again and again, even when we are really tired. Resistance is not always dramatic. It can look like voting in a local election. It can look like checking in on a neighbor. It can even look like organizing a potluck to feed a family in crisis. It can look like asking the hard questions in a staff meeting. It can also look like sharing your story, even when your voice shakes. My grandmother Edith's resistance taught me that surviving is resistance. So is healing. So is dreaming. And so is showing up. To me, resistance is not just a one-time act. It is a daily decision that we choose to make, a quiet choice to live with dignity, even in the face of suffering. My grandmother made that choice over and over again, and now I try to live in a way that honors that legacy. May we carry it forward, not through fear, but through love, not through silence, but through story, not through despair, but through action. I would like to begin by setting an intention. In a world that asks us to shrink, to hurry, or to look away, we pause to choose another way. Today, we set an intention to practice resistance with care and clarity, to notice where our power lives, to honor the wisdom of rest and boundary, and to remember that dignity is not earned, but inherent. May we listen deeply to our own lives and to one another. May we act with courage shaped by love, and may our small, faithful choices become part of something larger than any one of us can carry alone. Let us begin together. And now I would like to invite our closing hymn, "We Are a Gentle, Angry People."
And in body or spirit, again, in the gray hymnal, 170.
Oops. Sometimes they don't match. All right. Oh. Need my closing words. So our closing words are by the Reverend Erica Hewitt from Bless the Imperfect, Meditations for Congregational Leaders. Let us go forward, not with despair, but with determination. Let us resist the temptation to do nothing when we cannot do everything. Let us remember that small acts of courage, spoken truths, open hands, and shared stories can shift the world. Go in peace, go in power, go in resistance. And now if you'll join me in the chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And if you will rise in body or spirit for our closing blessing song.
Receive to you I give.
out. For payment, okay.
And if you would like to look at the art again, because we only have a couple more weeks of this art exhibit, myself and Sean are available. If you want any of those pieces, just check with us and we'll help you with that process.